This is The Heat Source, the podcast where we learn everything we can about hot sauce, one bottle at a time. We're your hosts, Mike and Matt, and today we're trying Brat Sauce by Fat Baby Hot Sauce and Mikey V's Hot Chip Sauce. Let's heat up. Welcome back to The Heat Source, where we learn about new sauces weekly, one bottle at a time. Today, we have a 4th of July episode. I believe this is actually coming out on 4th of July. And we're trying two sauces that I try to think of something that would go good with 4th of July, food or just what embodies America. And what's more American than a hot Cheeto infused hot sauce from Mikey V's and a brat sauce for those hot dogs and brats.
That's what I'll be eating this weekend.
I know. I just smelling the brat sauce because we split the bottle. We're in two separate locations, and when I split the sauce, I smelled it. I'm just like, well, I need to have brats like 3 times this weekend. That's just a necessity. But we're doing Fat Baby Hot Sauce. Now, Fat Baby Hot Sauce, we haven't done an episode in-depth doing a background check on that sauce. But I wanted to get this sauce in there. We have a handful of sauces from them that I've purchased. I've seen them at 2 different events locally because they're Michigan-based. So we'll do an episode about them. But then Mikey V's, we did their collaboration with KDB Saucy, the, Moroccan Madness. So we've done one sauce from theirs. They have a taco sauce that I've tried. I think we tried that at the Illinois show too. And so...
Yeah. We've used a handful of their stuff here. I think they have they've got an ivory barbecue sauce.
Yeah, and I did their Alabama white sauce.
It was surprisingly hot. Yeah, It was good, but it was very hot.
Yeah, it has like I think it had ghost pepper powder in it, which really kind of ramps it up. But
yeah.
But before we get into trying the sauce, before we start talking about 4th of July festivities, we have to play the game. I'm going to name a person, and you're going to tell me if it's a hot sauce maker or an NBA player. I got to keep the stats. I got to be like you're on a win streak or on a loss streak. Hey, you're above 50%. I'm going to go back and do all the stat tracking. But
8 years worth of episodes.
The person that we have today is Horace Grant. Horace Grant.
Horace Grant?
Mm-hmm.
Old-timey basketball.
So, how old-timey would you say? If you're going to say old-timey.
Grant makes me think 80s or 90s. When you use the word name Horace.
I hate that 90s is old-timey. I hate that so much. Which, I mean, is weird because we're not that far apart in age. Horace Grant.
No.
Horace Grant is an NBA player.
But when you say Horace, that makes me think like 50s, 60s.
Ironically, Harvey Grant is also an NBA player. But Horace Grant is the one that I specifically chose. He was on the first three-peat of the Chicago Bulls. He was on the first Laker championship of the Shaq and Kobe's. So he has 4 titles. He was really he was a starter, but he wasn't a All-Star Hall of Famer. I think he was a one-time All-Star. Nicknamed the Enforcer, and the reason I picked him, aside from being a key member of multiple championship teams, he was also born on July 4th.
Ah, nice.
So 4th of July kid that became I think he was in the league for like 17 years.
Really?
Yeah. Interesting enough, Horace and Harvey Grant, both in the NBA for a prolonged period of time. And then I believe Harvey Grant's son is Jeremy Grant, who was a former Piston but is a current NBA player. So the Grants, it's a family business in the NBA. I mean, part of it's genetics.
Weirdly enough, I've honestly never heard of any of them.
That's fine. I can't just keep going to the Grant pool. So I'm like, let me just knock these out. And honestly, I could bring them up in like 3 months and you'd be like, Grant. Harvey Grant's not much younger sounding. So
rings a bell.
But yeah, so we've got the 4th of July festivities. I know you've got weekend plans. We're kind of figuring them out as we go. My dad, for the actual literal 4th, he just told everybody, he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna be cooking all day. You guys come over whenever you want. I'll be grilling. I'll be cooking." And he's just basically having an open house at his house of him just grilling
Yeah.
for no reason. I'm like, all right, so we want to go over there around lunchtime, then maybe stop back over around dinner time. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll be
We're gonna
curious how
be.
intense. But
You're kind of in a weird situation. You just got back from a really big vacation. Now you're on an actual holiday, so it's like we
I don't
can't
know.
outdo what we just did.
Yeah, I can't
So
drive.
I
I
guess we
can't
just
drive
hang out.
anywhere.
Yeah.
I did. I was talking to after driving because yeah, we drove to Yellowstone and back from Yellowstone. It was a long trip. I mean, we were only in Yellowstone for like 4 days, 4.5 days, but it was a long trip because we drove. It did make me think. My dad's a huge Route 66 fan. He loves Route 66 memorabilia. He's a big car guy, and I talked to some people recently where I'm like, has he ever driven Route 66? And so, not this year, but maybe next year or the year after, I'm gonna try to figure out a time where, whether it be just him and I, me and my sister with him, or what level of group, but do a full drive the whole route over like a week,
Yeah.
and then fly
That'd be
back.
cool. Where's it end? I know we talked about it starts in Chicago. Where's it end? I
It
forgot.
starts in Chicago. It ends in California,
That's right.
and let me see. I think it's like not Santa Barbara. Route 66. I need to find where it ends. So it starts in Chicago, Santa Monica.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Chicago to Santa Monica. I mean, I feel like they were like, "Oh, I'm curious what restaurants and all that." I'm like, I feel like I could search that on YouTube, TikTok, Google, any of them, and search like Route 66 7-day road trip, you know, plan, and everyone's gonna have something. There's gonna be a vlog about it. There's gonna be all this stuff. So,
Right.
but yeah, it's 2,448 miles is the route, which we drove total back and forth 4,100 miles for the Yellowstone trip.
Yeah. You drove to Alaska, right?
No, we flew.
Oh, you flew. Okay.
Yeah, we flew. We were younger. That was when my sister and I were younger. So yeah, my parents just flew. That was a really fun trip too, and we flew with a couple of my cousins came too. So
Nice.
so yeah, but one other thing I saw, and I'm not going to make you guess the whole list. I found the top 10 4th of July foods according to Delish.com. What
All
would you
right.
say? I'll give you a 3 strike system. Just list off whatever. And these are, yeah, the top 10 foods of 4th of July.
Hot dogs.
Yeah, hot dogs is fifth.
Fifth.
Yeah.
Let's go potato salad.
Potato salad is third.
Watermelon.
Watermelon is ninth.
Um, potato chips.
No potato chips.
Um,
And this might be top 10 purchases, like food purchases. There's one on here that I'm just one is listed as charcoal. People buy a lot of charcoal. I don't know why they included that.
it definitely purchases. I don't know too many people that are sitting there just munching on a briquette.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna get that one out of the way. Everything else is food.
Um, why am I blanking? Um, so I got those three.
I'm gonna say
Gosh,
everything
man, I don't know.
else. Everything else could be on the grill except for one. You
Oh,
can,
burgers,
yeah. So they have both frozen
steaks,
beef burgers and beef patties. So I'm gonna give you both of those. I don't know why people buy fresh and frozen. Cool.
steaks,
Not steaks.
chicken.
Not chicken.
You said everything else can go on the grill. Corn.
Yep, corn is number one.
Really?
Yeah, but also are they going by
It's not
per?
even sweet corn season.
Are they going by per ear? I don't think people care about that. Are they going by per ear? Because yeah, like I got 8 ears of corn for $1. So yeah, I'd buy like $5 worth of corn. Everyone's eating corn.
Right. My grandma used to always say knee high by the 4th of July anytime we'd pass a cornfield.
So it's funny.
So it's
Angela
like,
said that on the drive out, the
oh,
drive out
really?
east. Yeah, she was like knee high by the 4th of July, and I was like, what? Yeah, that's what they say.
Had you never heard that before?
No.
That's so funny.
So yeah,
No offense to Angela. It's kind of an old saying.
I mean, she lived out in Saint John's, so I mean, that's all there is out there is
There it
corn.
is. Yep.
Um, one's real obvious because we're gonna try a sauce related to it today.
Oh, Cheetos.
No, the other one,
Oh, brats.
brats.
Sorry, I lumped in hot dogs. I assumed brats were covered under hot dogs.
That's fair.
Flamin' Hot Cheetos, that's probably not too
If,
far off the list,
if
actually.
for the 2024 list, it's probably pretty high. Um, one's your worst enemy,
Oh, baked beans.
baked beans,
Ugh.
and then the last one is an iconic restaurant song.
Iconic restaurant song.
Yeah, there's a restaurant that has a song that just repeats this over and over again. Also, uh, Michael Scott from The Office sang it when he was trying to woo Tim Meadows to work for Dunder Mifflin. Not work for them, but have them be their client.
Dude, I am drawing a blank right now. Like, I
They-
kind of know what you're talking about.
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back.
Ah, ribs.
Yeah, there you go. That's the list.
Oh, I butchered that one.
It is. There's a couple things in here that made me think Delish.com didn't try that hard. When I'm like, you had charcoal, you had 2 different types of beef burgers. Yeah, but it's a fun list. And all of those
Yeah.
things, I know you wouldn't eat the beans, but all those things aside from the charcoal, I would eat. But I do love a good charcoal grill. I have a propane one, and it's very nice, and I'm very happy to have it for ease of use. But I would very much prefer charcoal if I was,
Yeah.
had my choice. But
Gas way convenient. Can't beat the flavor of charcoal, though.
yeah, 100%. My parents don't really like charcoal. Like they said the char from charcoal upsets something for them, so they kiss the food with a charcoal grill because that's all they have. But they just kiss it with it, and it's fine. But I'm like, I like a good char. Like you get cooked chicken, you want some of those black marks on there.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get into the Fat Baby hot sauce. This is the Brat Sauce. So this is one ingredient list, very small. Chili peppers, sauerkraut, vinegar, mustard, salt, pepper. So it says, we make our sauce from chili peppers we grow here in Michigan. If you think we're passionate about the sauce, you should know we are equally crazy about our fat little chili babies. So they have this is batch number 23,126. So they make a lot of Brat sauce, apparently. But I know that they're very small batch on here. So it's made here in Grand Rapids, Michigan. So it is made locally. I believe their farm is up north a little bit. But this is Fat Baby Hot Sauce on Facebook and Instagram, fatbabyhotsauce.com. What's like the most creative brat you've had that you've enjoyed?
Most creative?
Yeah, because you know how like you can get a bunch of different.
Yeah. A few years ago, I had, they were like blueberry Swiss, I think. Those were actually really good.
Nice.
I think one of my favorite parts about brats is like how creative people get with them. Like if you go to like a small hometown butcher, he's like, I got
Look at that.
morel duck brats. I've got, oh wow.
I do like the creativity of it. I also like that I always typically cut the brat, a slit down the brat, so I have both the bun and the brat helping to hold all the toppings. I don't put a whole lot of toppings, but I just like it to have a little bit. This one I gave to you in a jar because I figured mustard in a jar is probably the better way to go.
Yeah. I can see that whole grain in there. Nice.
Whole grains in there. You got that sauerkraut that's giving it the texture. It looks like if you like whipped up a thing of sauerkraut, that's kind of the basis of the consistency is you see those flecks of the sauerkraut, which I know we're sauerkraut fans. My family is more divided. I don't know if anyone in my immediate, if any of my, I don't think any of my kids have sauerkraut as far as
So
one
this is
thing they eat.
a little bit, I don't want to say it's gross, but this is pretty daring. So
Hmm.
before I went on vacation, let's see, almost 2 months ago now,
Yeah,
I got a batch of sauerkraut going on the counter, let it
yeah.
go for a couple weeks, came back, ate it, and then I've been slowly picking at it. It's jalapeno
Ooh.
cabbage sauerkraut. And I still have some, and I'm just kind of seeing how far I can push it before I'm like, okay, this is not good anymore.
And on
It's
the inverse of
still
that,
there, but
I made a bag
go
salad 2 days ago, and the next day I'm like, let me open this up and eat it, and it was soggy as hell. And I'm like, I'm not touching this.
That's
So,
so funny.
all right,
I'm gonna
let's.
see how long I can take it. I'm at 2 months right now on the same batch.
Yeah, my dad makes sauerkraut every couple times a year, so that's usually when I get it, just because no one in my family wants it. So I
Yeah.
would like to have, if I had one in my fridge, it wouldn't be touched by anyone else, so that'd be nice. All right, let's
Well,
give this
this.
a
So I don't know if I mentioned this one. It's just sitting on my counter. It's been room temp for 2 months right now.
interesting. Okay,
It's
all
still
right,
good. It's very
yeah,
strong.
all right. Let's give this one a try.
Whoa.
Good kick, good acidity. If you don't like sauerkraut, this will be a challenge because it's very sauerkraut forward, which I love.
I love this, man.
Yeah,
This is really good.
the heat's on the back of the throat for me, but it's not like super. It's not growing. It's just there.
Dang.
Yeah, this is
So we
this will be
split this.
gone this weekend.
I'm not going to take any more of this because I know we're going to do brats this weekend. I want to bring it up north.
Yeah.
Man, that's really good. That you get that little kick with a mustard in there too.
Yep.
Man, holy cow. That's a really good combination.
Yeah. I mean, very simple, but
What were the sorry, what were I don't have the ingredients list right here. What were the peppers in there again?
it just says chili peppers, so I don't know what type of peppers are used on there. It just says chili peppers that they grew. So
Man, that's good.
no, I really like this one. It's, I mean, it's a lot easier to smother it on a brat than if you pile on the sauerkraut. Sometimes if you want to put other toppings on, it becomes a mound. This will just kind of cover across. Because it's a blended sauerkraut. Those chunks will just kind of smooth out over the brat. Or honestly, I would throw this in like a little tang to throw into like a potato salad. I'd throw it into throw it on your hot dog. I'd put it on my burger.
My only
Honestly,
concern with it is a bottle would last me like 2 or 3 brats. I
oh
would
yeah,
put a lot in there.
wouldn't last long. Um, honestly, I mean any Polish food. Like if I had a pierogi, I'd throw this on some pierogies. Like get some nice like cheddar potato pierogies. Throw this on there too. If you don't
Yeah.
want to make a full batch of sauerkraut and you just want that flavor, this is going to provide it for you.
Just
So
throwing it on kielbasa.
yeah, I know that they posted that. I don't know if it was last Friday or this coming Friday that they're at the Riverside food truck. There's Grand Rapids has like a food truck Fridays at the Riverside Park, and I believe they were
Yeah.
set up there last week. So I'd be curious if that's something that they're there every week because I might have to stock up on another bottle.
So that's actually the first. I saw him there one time. I think 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I meant to stop, but this was when. Did I tell you the story of Courtney wanting to have that? She just wanted lemonade. She just wanted like a good
Oh
homemade lemonade.
yeah,
There's 3 different lemonade stands. We hit the first two, and the first two are just absolutely not what she was looking for. One was like drinking a 9-volt battery. The other one was just straight water. And there was a third one, and I'm like, let's go try this third one here. She's like, no, like I'm good. I'm lemonaded out right now. I don't want to do this. I say some hi to someone at work on Monday, and I was like, what did you do this weekend? And they're like, oh, I went to the Riverside food place, and I got the best lemonade I'd ever had. I'm like, really? What one was it? They're like, the one over in the corner. And I'm like, okay, that's the one we didn't go to, you know? So, but no, Fat Baby was there. And as I was waiting in line to get that last lemonade,
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, we got to stop there. Turn around, and they're already packed up and gone. So, missed them. But,
Yeah, we were at the. It was at Riverside Park, but it was like the Polish. I think it was just like the Polish festival, or it wasn't the festival, but there was like a Polish event, and they were set up over there, and that's where I got this bottle late last year, and so glad that we are able to crack this open. But it's, yeah, I mean, obviously we're suckers for sauerkraut, so it's not wasn't going to be a hard sell. For your fact, what did you do for your fact on this one?
on this one, I went with the natural casing
Okay,
of brats. You know what natural casing is, right?
it's definitely not animal related.
You're right. It's intestine related.
Perfect.
Yeah. So that's not the fact though. So yeah, natural casing. Most people know. They just call it natural casing, but it is it's the liner, not the muscle tissue, but the liner of intestines
Okay.
that make the intestines like strong and flexible.
Mm-hmm.
Still used widely today. I mean, most people, if you were to ask most people, they wouldn't prefer it. But I think from a texture standpoint, if you did like a blind taste test, you'd be like, do you prefer this or that? Most people would probably pick the natural. But I did find it interesting. It said there was text written 4,000 years ago about ancient Sumerians of Mesopotamia documented meat stuffed into intestinal casings.
Hmm.
So, first brat was invented, as far as we know, about 4,000 years ago, which the last mammoth died about 4,000 years ago.
So
So,
a mammoth could have eaten a brat.
mammoth could have eaten a brat.
I mean,
Can you
that's
imagine
news right there.
Can you imagine making a mammoth brat? We got to get our hands on some elephant intestines and make some elephant brats.
Dude, that's an even better one. Like, there could have been a brat made of mammoth meat. Forget the mammoth meatball that we talked about a while back. You have
A
mammoths.
brat like a foot in diameter
What if the last mammoth was killed to make a brat?
to
To
make a
make
brat.
a brat for the whole tribe, the whole
Well,
village.
if you had to go, I'm glad it was that way.
I just hope that they invented some type of bun during, in time for that, because you gotta have a bun around the brat.
So here's the thing. I'm kind of weird when it comes to this. I'll usually do a bun or two.
Hmm.
Like I'll do like four brats usually.
Yeah,
Usually do one bun, maybe two, but then I'll just raw dog the rest.
it is tough. Well, it's kind of like someone bringing you like dinner rolls. Like, I'll have a dinner roll to start, but I'm not going to keep eating the rolls. I'm not going to fill up on bread. So after one or two
Right.
brats, yeah, if you switch it to just straight, especially my brother-in-law always buys a variety of brat flavors, and so it's like, I want to try a couple of these, but I'm also not going to eat four, you know, brat buns. Which a brat bun is just it's a sub bun basically. So
Yeah.
um, well, that's interesting. Yeah, now I'm thinking about how a mammoth could have been killed to make a brat. Also, so do you know? I mean, how do you identify if it's a natural casing, or was it like just like the other alternative is like synthetic, that they just like create a synthetic?
Collagen.
Okay,
Collagen
interesting.
casing. So I don't know how they make it, but still, I believe that'd still be an animal product.
Yeah.
Collagen, yeah. Probably just a
Hmm.
byproduct of boiling bones. Probably a gelatin product.
Interesting.
Yeah. Which a lot of people don't know this. When you eat Jello, you can go to the store and buy just straight up whatever Jello brand Jello is out there.
Hmm.
Straight animal bones.
Oh yeah, that
I
one I
don't
knew.
think a lot of people know that.
Yeah, that's
But yeah, that's two main types: is collagen and natural.
okay. Interesting. All right. So my fact, I went into brats. How many different styles or types of brats do you think exist? I'm going to say in Germany, because Germany's where it originated from. How many different varieties do you think that they have?
How many variety? I'm gonna say a ton. I'm gonna say at least 50.
So in Germany, there are 42 recognized varieties, most
Oh,
distinguished
that's
by their
close.
size and the spices used to flavor them. There is even a bratwurst museum in the village of Holzhausen, if I said that right. But 42 varieties. But the thing is, 42 varieties. So I think that's authentic brat. I don't think they factor in like the Philly cheesesteak brat. That's at my local place, the cheeseburger brat, the
Right.
Flamin Hot Cheeto brat, whatever it might be.
I'm sure they're breaking it down by like style.
Yeah.
Like uh, there's a lot of worsts out there.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah, I think
you can go
it's
to a local butcher here, and there's 10 of them in front of you of different kinds of whatever worst.
yeah. I've been seeing a lot on Instagram and TikTok where someone's like, "Hey, we're gonna make this salad," and then you realize that it's just whatever they say, like, "Oh, we're gonna make a pot sticker salad." It's just pot stickers that they just claim to be a salad because they're eating it from a bowl. So it's just a bowl of pot stickers. I'm gonna be like, "We're gonna make a brat salad today," and it's just chopped up brats covered in sauerkraut and mustard that I'm just eating from a bowl, like a sprig of lettuce.
Dude, that is the 2024 mind.
Yeah,
You probably do
it's
really well with that.
it's the same thing with all these chopped sandwiches where they like, "Hey, here, put
Yeah,
all this stuff on the chopping board,
that's
chop it all up,"
exactly what I'm thinking of.
and I'm just like, they're like, "Oh, we're gonna do this with hard boiled eggs and this." I'm like, "You just made egg salad.
Yeah,
Like this is
you
just
you
tuna
took
salad. This is
the
just chicken salad."
you took the most basic sandwich out there, made it look a little bit different, and now it's got 1 million legs on it.
I
I hate that.
I don't. I feel like I could almost make one where I'm like, "Oh, this is like an artisanal like chopped ham salad," and they're like, "That's ham spread. That's just ham spread," which is like the thing my parents would always buy,
Bologna and mayonnaise.
and
Yeah.
everyone was like, "Oh, I don't know, like pickles, ham, and mayonnaise." And it's like, "Oh no, it's artisanal because I chopped it myself on a cutting board that has a fancy design."
Gosh, my parents, they definitely live a modern lifestyle. My parents, when they make bologna spread, they
Hmm.
still get out the old hand grinder that like vice grips to the table,
Yeah. Oh,
and then they throw a bucket under it to catch all the juice, and then they sit there and make their own bologna spread.
was that what was the one? Was that the one where like they throw like just it was like bologna, raw onion, mayo,
Yeah,
and something
bologna,
else?
onion, pickle, and mayo.
Yeah,
That's it.
I'd eat that.
Yeah, it's super good.
Hmm.
When you look at it, you're like, that
Oh,
looks like Friday night at a bar.
any yeah, any pink hue that goes into like food, it's a tough sell, but I'll
And then
still try
cover it in
it.
mayonnaise.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like, oh,
it's super good though.
it's a dark pink hue that's gross. But like, well, we're gonna mix mayonnaise in it. Okay, so light pink, cool,
Yeah,
cool, cool,
but
cool.
they have. I think it's authentic, like this old cast meat grinder. That's it's got to be from earlier than 1960 for sure.
I gave my dad a meat grinder because I got one and I'm like, I'm not going to use it as much as my dad would. And I gave it to him and he keeps saying, like, yeah, we got to make some sausage or whatever. I'm like, yeah, for sure. And we haven't. It's been like 4 years, 5 years, but we will. We have to get a scale though because like the seasoning of it, I know that part of that is like it's like salting it is like 2% of the weight. You have to like really
Yeah.
calculate it down.
Hmm.
Also, real quick before we get into the scores on this, have you ever seen somebody did they called it a dry pickle where you throw the cucumbers into like a vacuum seal with just like salt, garlic, whatever flavor you want, but no liquid, and then you just seal it up?
I did see that. Yeah.
It looked intriguing to me, and I have a vacuum sealer. I thought that you're supposed to like burp stuff like that, so like sealing it makes me a little confused, like what happens with the gas,
I,
but
I feel like that doesn't that ferment it
I think so.
because you're not giving it oxygen.
Yeah, but but like yeah, they're like, oh yeah, they're much more crispy and they don't get as soft, and I'm like, I'd try it.
Yeah, I did see that.
Just
I might have sent that to you.
I'd run a risk of Angela throwing it away, and I'd be like, that's gonna be pickles, and she's like, no, it was just on the counter. It's going in the trash. It'd have to be in the basement here.
Yeah.
All my fermenting foods would be down here. But let's get into the score on this one because again, Fat Baby Hot Sauce, made in Grand Rapids, Michigan. So this is the most local sauce we've ever tried. This is also just perfectly Polish Dutch wheelhouse, 100%. It's like what's the most way to get us Polish people on board? Throw some sauerkraut in there, blend it up.
Yep.
The heat I had as like a 1+. It's somewhere between a 1 and a 2. Like I felt it on the back of my throat. It wasn't, a killer heat. There's a lot of acidity to it, so that, with the mustard and the vinegar, and I like the pepperiness of it. I'd probably throw a little bit extra fresh cracked pepper if I'm putting this on a pierogi or whatever. But I had this as an 86.
I had 85.
Yeah. This is
Really good.
So again, it's a very straightforward. We talked about there's like 6 ingredients. There's 4 ingredients if you're not including salt and pepper. And so, again, if you're looking for something to kind of give you that cure that Polish itch of like, oh, I don't want to make a fresh batch of sauerkraut in the middle of the summer, the black flies will attack, then go ahead and get a bottle of this, and that saves you. My dad would make those in the summer, and the screen would be covered with flies, just trying to get in. Yeah, he's like, do not make it in the summer if you have to have a window open. It's like not going to work. So that's a really good one. I really enjoy that one. That's it's too late for 4th of July for you, but next time you grill out, you should try to find a bottle of that. But let's get into one of the most interesting sauces we probably tried, Mikey V's hot chip sauce. So this one has a lot of ingredients, but the one thing that is mentioned is it's made with hot Cheetos. Hot Cheetos are incorporated into this sauce.
Yeah.
And Mikey V's, we've tried a few things from them. MikeyVFoods.com, Mikey V Foods on Facebook, and Mikey V's Hot Sauce on Instagram. So this one, it says, it's finally here, a hot sauce made with the most popular hot chips on the market. Hot chips have been a growing part of our culture for over 30 years. This is the perfect sauce to use not only with your chips, but with tacos, Mexican street corn, mac and cheese, fried chicken, chicharrones, ceviche, and even fresh fruit. The possibilities are endless. And let's see, white vinegar, cayenne pepper puree, XX Flamin Hot Cheetos, enriched cornmeal, salt. They're going through the ingredients of the hot Cheetos, so that's
Flamin'
a little
Hot
bit.
Cheetos,
Yeah. Oh, there's buttermilk in there, garlic powder, onion powder, whey. Yeah, cayenne pepper, spices. So I mean, it looks flaming hot. I mean, it's got that bright red. It's got that red look to it.
It looks like it's just liquefied Flamin' Hot Cheetos, like the bright red. You could paint a barn with this.
So for anyone that's trying to avoid like the red 40, this is not for you, because this one's got it in there with the hot Cheetos. But no, I'm excited about trying this one. I'm gonna open this one up. That one actually gave you in a squirt bottle, because I was hoping that it would come out of there easy enough.
It smells really good.
Smells really good. It's got a lot of the traditional smells of just a red table sauce, but it has a little bit of that flaming hot in there.
You know what it smells like? It smells like beefed up Franks, honestly.
Yeah.
That vinegar in there.
It seems like it's got a good Frank's base with that extra from some of these ingredients, including the Cheetos. But yeah, let's give this one a try. And this one's very thin. It's got a nice red. It's got a nice pinkish red color to it. It's got that Flamin' Hot Cheeto color. But it's very smooth, very liquidy.
Tastes like Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
It does taste like Flamin' Hot Cheetos. So I'm not mad about that.
What I wanted. Yeah.
Sometimes people like to use like crushed up Flamin' Hot Cheetos to sprinkle into stuff. This gives you the flavor without having to deal with, drying something out. Like if you throw a lot of Flamin' Hot Cheetos on a mac and cheese, it can absorb a lot of the liquid. But this will just add to it, so you could balance it out between the two. Yeah.
It's got a good heat. Probably a 2 for me.
Yeah. It's somewhere that's like a low 2. It's got more of a vinegar kick. And it's got that cayenne.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I like that one. I like the idea of like a street corn. drizzling this over a street
Yeah,
corn is a good idea.
yeah.
I just made
Putting it
a
on like elote.
I just made a broccoli corn salad. I would throw this on there, and I got like some cooked up chicken thighs. That I just mince that up and throw that on top. I could do that for lunch.
So, I might have told this story before. This was back. Do you remember? So you know how like Flamin' Hot Cheetos evolved into like Takis and that
Yeah.
style of like very tangy,
Hmm.
hot. One of Courtney's best friends. Her family's from Mexico, and they just have all the amazing food hacks. What she would do, she'd buy a bag of Flamin' Hot Cheetos, and you know those really thick gas station pickles, those just
Yeah.
unnecessarily big ones.
Hmm.
She'd take a bag of Flamin' Hot Cheetos. She'd bite the end of that pickle off, and she would ream the pickle with the Flamin' Hot Cheeto to give it like that acidic tang to it. And she was doing this before Takis were mainstream.
Hmm.
I'm like, Jessica, what on earth are you doing right now? And she's like, try this. Dude, it was so freaking good.
Yeah, she's being a visionary. That's what she's doing.
Exactly. I'll never question her again after that. Just solidified everything she's ever done.
It's like I'm walking outside and taking a stroll outside that box you're living in. That's what she's doing.
Yeah. But she did the whole bag, reamed every single one of those things in that pickle. And then the pickle was great because it tasted like Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
Yeah. No, I would do that. No, this one, man. Yeah, mac and cheese is a good call because I mean, we talked about, a few times about how Frank's on mac and cheese. I mean, that's a staple for you. It's a classic combination. Add a little Flamin' Hot Cheeto in there. Forget about it.
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna get into my fact on this.
All right.
So I went Cheeto. Pretty straightforward. But I went into some of the production requirements to produce a year's supply of Cheetos. How many cows do you think are needed to generate a year's supply of Cheetos?
Cows. Is there dairy in them?
So here's the follow-up. So I have the number of cows needed to generate, and then the gallons of milk needed to make the cheddar cheese that is used on Cheetos, because it's a cheese dust. So
I don't know why I was thinking more of like the actual crisp itself.
Oh, no.
Not the cheese.
This is
Okay,
just
sorry.
this is just for the dust,
Yeah. I'm gonna go with
which is heavily coated.
yeah. I'm gonna go with 1 million cows a year.
Okay, that's a little bit much. 5,000 cows.
Okay, sorry.
But how many gallons of milk do you think
A
is
lot of cows.
required? How many gallons of milk do you think is required to make the cheddar cheese?
For the year?
Yeah, and this is straight from the Kimberly Scott, the director of communications at PepsiCo Frito-Lay. So it's legit.
So I'm gonna say, gosh, I don't know what a cow does per day. Let's just say a cow does a gallon per day. I could do some math. 1 gallon per day times. So it's 365 gallons a year plus, or times 5,000 cows. 2 million gallons of milk.
So it takes 11 million gallons of milk to make 10 million pounds of cheddar cheese that are used on the Cheetos seasoning.
Which is what it is a year.
Yeah.
So hold on. You said 11 million?
Yeah.
So that means each cow is doing
6
2,200
gallons, 6 gallons a
year.
day.
Divided by 365, yeah. Dang.
Yeah.
That's wild.
I'm afraid to
Dude,
look any
that's-
further because I don't want to find it. Well, they're doing this too.
I wanna do the math on how many calories that takes, because milk production takes more calories to make milk than it does to actually grow the baby.
Right.
I want to do the math on how many calories that is and how many like pounds of corn, or they're probably corn fed.
Probably.
That's crazy.
That's why it's very important for corn to be knee high by the 4th of July.
Yeah, That is literally 6 times what I thought it was going to be.
It's if corn is only shin high by the 4th of July, it's the meme of Key and Peele of him just sweating, just looking and be like, I got cows to feed.
it'd make a it'd make a very dry but funny to me meme where it's like when your corn's not knee high by the 4th of July, and then it just shows him pouring snow.
Yeah,
You got to post that one.
I'll
That's
post
funny.
it. I'll post it. Be like, hey, not everything's gonna be hot sauce related. What do you expect? But yeah, so that's my fact about the production. Just to get that Cheeto dust, that delicious, delicious Cheeto dust.
Oh, that's awesome. So mine's actually kind of messed up.
Perfect.
I went the Cheeto direction too, but the mascot of Cheetos is,
Chester Cheeto.
which is a,
Cheetah.
yep,
Okay. I was like, I'm like, if I mess this up,
yeah, one of the coolest displays, and I've never actually seen it. I've seen it online, and my brother's been there and told me about it. One of the coolest displays is the cheetah enclosure at the Cincinnati Zoo. Like, they actually have these cheetahs run sprints, and they time them at the zoo. So I looked into the history of the Cincinnati Zoo. This is really messed up. In addition to animals,
okay.
the zoo secured 89 Sioux tribe members through a contact with the Bureau of Indian Affairs. The Native Americans on display for 3 months in 1896 set up a village within the zoo and lived their normal life according to advertisements, giving a rare opportunity of showing the character and mode of life of the Indian tribes. So the Cincinnati Zoo had 89 Sioux tribe members on display in 1896. If that doesn't say American, I don't know what does.
Happy 4th of July, everybody.
Well,
Wow.
hey, not everyone's perfect. Everyone's
Yeah.
got a couple skeletons in the old closet.
You live a couple hundred years as a country. You're bound to have a couple a a
So I
5,000
will
cow
say
fleet worth of gallons of issues. Interesting. I mean,
I wholeheartedly disagree with this, but it does sound voluntary, which makes me feel 1% better.
yeah. I mean, I don't know about. I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, that was over 100 years ago. What do you say,
Yeah,
1896?
1896.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, we're talking about 125 years ago. So I can't speak to quality of anything.
Probably not a whole lot of flexibility in there, but it doesn't sound incredibly forced. So,
So yeah. I mean,
how
my
crazy is
hope it.
that, though?
So here's glass half full. My hope is that there was like, hey, we'd like you just to set up here. Like, if you want to leave, you can leave. That's my only question. Is
That's
like,
what it sounds like. What it was. I'm approaching it from like more of a vendor mindset of like, hey, if you guys want to set up a booth, that's cool.
yeah,
I hope it went like that.
fingers crossed. But it is. I mean, there, there you go. If anyone, if you know anyone from Cincinnati, you should be like, hey, did you know 125 years ago, the zoo included a tribe
Yeah.
of people.
Oh gosh, that is so wild.
You, or if someone's from Cincinnati, be like, how many? Like you have the Cincinnati Zoo. Oh yeah, I go there all the time. How many people are in the collection now? Like, what are you talking
Yeah,
about?
you guys still have
Like,
those Indians on display?
be like,
That's so inappropriate.
yeah, and then make him feel bad about his town. It's Ohio. Michigan's supposed to have a rivalry with Ohio. It's fine.
Yeah, you know what? My hopes for Ohio are not very high, anyways. So
Jungle
you're
Gyms
doing
is
all
like
right.
Jungle Gyms is like a U.S. embassy in a third world country. It's like I go in there and I'm like sanctuary. I'm fine.
Yeah,
I'm in Ohio, but
everything's
I'm in a
safe.
different part of Ohio.
Yeah,
I don't know
that's
why I'm
so
being mean
funny.
to Ohio. Neither of these sauces are from Ohio though, so we're fine.
Yeah,
One Mikey V's is from Texas. The other one's from Michigan. That's interesting though. I mean, it's 125 years ago. It's an interesting fact. Well done. I would have never guessed the Cincinnati Zoo had people in it.
You know what
So
really caught those guys off guard? They had no idea that they'd end up on a podcast a couple hundred years down the road, or 100 years down the road.
yeah, when they agreed to be a part of the zoo, I know that the leader was like, I know that this seems like a difficult thing to accept, but one day they'll be talking about us in the pantheon of stories known as the Heat Source Podcast.
What if the last line of that contract said, "This will never be spoken of on the internet ever"? Have you seen that episode of South Park when Kenny dies and they're fighting over his will and they're like broadcasting it all over the television? Then they read his will live on TV and it says, "Whatever you do, please do not broadcast this online or
Yeah.
on TV."
Well, they didn't have the verbiage back then to say that it wasn't allowed on podcasts. They probably said radio and television. Totally
Yeah.
different. But all right. All right, well, let's get into the score on this one. So Frankie V's hot chip sauce, Flamin' Hot Cheetos included in there.
Mikey V's.
I'm sorry. What'd I say?
Frankie.
Well,
Say you're in the Italian realm. Hey, Mikey.
Mikey, Frankie.
Hey, Frankie.
It's because I'm like, it's the Flamin' Hot Cheeto with an elevated Frank sauce in it, using, better ingredients than your traditional Frank sauce. And so, yeah, mac and cheese, fried chicken, street corn. You could drizzle this
Fried
over.
chicken would be good.
You do a little walking taco. Throw that in
Yeah.
here.
How good would that be? It's just a wing sauce.
Oh, it'd be
That'd
fantastic.
be really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this one was really good. I had this as a 2 on heat. Just lingers for a little bit. Nothing that's making you sweat or react or anything like that. I had this as an 83.
I had 83 as well.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good sauce.
It is good. Well, both of these are coming up north with me.
Yeah, I mean, I gifted you a great weekend sauce that ideally, and Courtney would be happy, you could have gone by the time you get back. So it's not taking over fridge space.
Yep.
So that's pretty legit. But yeah,
Yep.
thank you again to Fat Baby Hot Sauce and Mikey V's. Hopefully we'll see them both at different events here before the year's out or start of next year. A couple special thank yous. Special thank you to Summit 6 Design for any graphic or logo design needs. They designed our logo. Special thank you to Claire from Butterfly Bakery of Vermont. She reached out and sent a package of not just sauce, but also there was granola and caramels and chocolate bar and all this stuff. She had reached out, and I never like asking for stuff, but she reached out and wanted to send stuff, and I'm excited. I was asking people online already, like, what's the first thing we try? I've gotten a couple good recommendations already. I don't know how many of these things you're going to be able to try, because like those caramels, once I open them, they might not last.
Yeah. I was talking to Courtney about this last night. Do you still have, there was a knife that we won in a raffle. Do you still have that under the seat of your car?
No, I took it out from under the seat of my car because I realized that I had it under the seat of my car for like 3 weeks. And then I left for vacation, and my dad's like, "Oh, I might pick up your car. He's got new seat covers." So he's like, "I might have those put in, and I might like get it just like cleaned or detailed just to like clean it up." And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't want them to detail the car and be like, "Sir, there was a knife under the seat." So
It's one thing to have a knife in the car, but when a knife is hidden like that, then it becomes a little suspicious.
and the only reason it was in the car under the seat is because I was like, well, I don't want it just to be out, but also I was going to bring it to you at work. But I kept being like, oh, I can't just like walk into the office holding a knife or having it in my backpack. So it will get to you. I was worried the cast iron skillet that I got, Angela put it away and I didn't know where she put it away at. And a lot of times I'll be like, hey, where's this? And she'll be like, I don't know. And I'll just be like, well, you put it away though. So
You
like,
guys have those conversations too?
I don't. So here's the thing. In my head, that last part is in my head. The rest of it, I'll have that conversation and be like, okay, you don't know where it is, but I'm like, we'll see. We'll see what's up. And then lastly, one last thank you, not thank you, but a shout out. So Burn Your Tongue out of Utah, they just celebrated their 15-year anniversary in business. So special congrats to them. I met Roger in Albuquerque, New Mexico, at John's station at Bear River Bottling Company. Super nice guy, super, welcoming. And so congrats to them on 15 years of doing this thing, being a leading representation of hot sauce in Utah. Utah's one state I have not been to yet. That's going to be on the list of next year. Angela wants to pull like ideas from a hat of vacation for next year. Utah's going to be one of them for me, not just for the hot sauce, but because there's also some pretty amazing sights and hiking to do.
So there's a restaurant, I think it's in Salt Lake City. Courtney's been to it. My dad's been to it. They both said it is the best thing out there. I think it's called like the green iguana or the red. I think the red iguana, the red or blue iguana. If you do end up there,
yeah, I'll have to check that
as
out.
two foodies, they both said that is like top tier place for them.
Nice. Yeah, the food in Yellowstone, we didn't really focus on the food too much. It was all about just getting out to Yellowstone as early as possible, stay as late as we could. Some of these future trips, there'll be more food-based discoveries there. So, but yeah, and then again, thank you again for listening. However you listen, we do appreciate you. Follow us on Instagram at the Heat Source Podcast for all updates. Send us a message on there or email us at theheatsourcepod@gmail.com for any feedback, requests, or any other comments. And then tune again next week, where my hope is that we try a new sauce, a new brand. We can do a deep dive there. So it's on me to do a little bit of research to finish that up, but we will see which one it is. That's
all right.
That's
Happy
it.
4th.
Happy 4th, everybody.
See ya.
I was like just going through the news when I first turned on the computer today, and I saw the weirdest story. There's this kid that was born without eyelids, and they used foreskin to like replace it. He's totally fine. He's a little cockeyed, but it's totally fine.
Holy
See, that livens it up.
Was that a real story or no?
No.
Yeah.
I lie for the joke. That's the only time that I intentionally lie.